Defender US,
This is a video update for Dan and everyone at Yankee Creek Ranch. The video update on Connor's performance at the Kentucky 3-day event. All in all, I was very pleased with Connor. It wasn't quite the result we were searching for. I really felt like he was one of the contenders to win it this year, and we ended up in 6th place, which is still a huge accomplishment, but he was one of these horses in the field that really had a chance of winning it. So it's sort of a little bit disappointing coming home and reviewing it all and thinking what could have been. Our dressage was pretty good. Basically, the trot work was the best that we've ever done.
Stunning horse.
So the first sort of half of this dressage test,
really
Connor was trending up.
They do get to come in
he was leading the class, I think. They did the live scoring, and the trot work that you're seeing here was fantastic. And you're able to sort of look at the results on online here, and there's all this trot work you're seeing here is like 7s, 8s, and there's even a couple of 9s, which was quite rewarding in the trot work. The one thing about Connor, he's starting to get more sort of settled in the big atmosphere environments. Obviously, at Kentucky, there's a huge crowds and a lot of noise and sort of a spooky ring, which sometimes catches us out. Sometimes it's a little bit distracting with Connor. He's sort of a high-energy horse that has trouble sort of concentrating. He's a bit like my kids. And I feel like now that he's sort of in this experienced window of his career, he's starting to be a fair bit more professional. So basically, we got a 9 for that halt off one of the judges, and all the trot work that you just saw there was 7s, a halves, 8s, and 9s. So arguably competitive with any horse in the world. The one tricky part with Connor's canter work is the flying lead changes, Dan, and now, a little bit of it is his weakness and a little bit of it is my weakness. And at home, we sort of can get them perfect about 80-85% of the time. And then at the competition, it's a little bit harder. So we had 4 flying changes in the 5-star tests. And they, to me, they look much improved, but there's still obviously a chink in our armour. For the 4 flying changes, we got a 5 for one. The second one was a little bit better, which was a 6. Then we actually got a 7.5 for our 3rd change, and our 4th change at the end was a 5. And they're expensive considering the horses that we're up against. So it's this movement here. We're on the left lead, and funny enough, it is improving, but it's still to get the really good marks, it's got to have a little bit more of a softer, clearer sort of look without him sort of jumping up in the air. So this is our homework going forward, and to keep sort of trying to improve the lead changes. So this is our second one here, which was slightly better than our first one. The judge was a bit cranky at E on the first one. They gave us a 4. And for this second change, it was a little bit smoother, but you can sort of see him get a little bit quick and funky behind. So it's sort of it's correct, but it's still a little bit herky-jerky, which these dressage judges get a little bit grumpy at when they're doing their scoring. Other than those split-second movements, the dressage is getting better and better. So we finished on a 28 in the dressage. So 28's pretty freaking good anywhere in the world. The hard part is that we were sort of competing, obviously, against the best of the best in the world. So we were, I believe, in 7th place after the dressage. So last year, even though it was raining like hell, we actually had a slightly better performance in the dressage, and we were in 2nd place after the dressage. So again, a lot to be proud of, but then deep down, I was just slightly disappointed because I know that he could go even better than a 28. So it's still a fantastic score, and I felt like we're in still a very strong position going into the cross country, just because at this level the cross country is so influential. Cross country day, the conditions were very good. The ground was quite fast, and in the past, our biggest flaw or our weak part in the 5-star has been in the time in the cross country. So this year, Dan, I set out a little bit faster on Connor, and I really felt like I wanted to set out on the course, really making sure that we didn't leave any stone unturned. He jumped actually the whole course really, really well. In hindsight, I think I pushed him a little bit too hard halfway around the course, and by the time I got to the big head of the lake water jump, he was a little bit sort of out of breath and a little bit empty on me, and it's something to remember with the horses. He seems to he seems to sort of in the middle stages or just after halfway of the course, he gets a little bit sort of winded or empty, and it happened to us at Maryland as well. And then, to give the horse credit, he finishes the course very, very strong. He sort of gets a second wind at the end of the course, and the last couple of 5-stars, he finished the last part of the course really, really well. And it's sort of it's a hard thing to explain. Like, he feels like he's really exhausted, and then all of a sudden he sort of picks up again. This next section here was sort of the hardest part of the course. It was right at the top point of the course. You had to gallop up that hill all the way to the top of the course, and this sequence of jumps really sort of sorted them out, and Connor was fantastic here. Had a bit of a mishap there on my first horse, and Connor read it well and jumped it well. So I think looking back on my competition, from here to the head of the lake water jumps about 2 minutes, and I went flat out on him. And I wish if I had my time over again, I'd sort of let him maybe coast along for 15, 20 minutes and get some air into his lungs, because by the time I got to this water jump that's coming up, all of a sudden it was the life, he sort of went a bit empty on me here. And so we came around this turn, and this was supposed to be 3 strides, and I got a bit of a dead jump here. Ended up on a very short 4-stride, and he drifted right, and I was on completely the wrong line to that corner. I originally was going to jump that brush corner, but when I looked up and I had no power left in my canter, we were on just the total wrong line, and I felt like if I asked Connor to jump that corner, we'd have no chance in jumping it, and we would have got 20 penalties, and I probably would have pulled him up. So I had to go long there, and it was expensive time-wise. It just took us probably 15, 20 seconds to go the long way, and it's just such a shame, because we were going to make the time in the cross-country, and then we pushed on, and then at this part of the course where other horses were really starting to suffer and struggle, actually Connor freshened up a bit and really jumped the last part of this course super well. So, I sort of kicking myself that I wish I just paused a little bit halfway around before that very influential water jump, because we had 6 time penalties, and we had 6 time penalties at Kentucky last year, but this year with that long way, that long way was easier, 15 or 20 seconds extra, which gave us 6 time penalties. So we went from a 28 to a 34. Hindsight's always a wonderful thing, but had I had gone direct at that water jump and knowing that he's going to show jump clear, we wouldn't have won it. We would have been in second place, 0.1 behind the winner. So woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's pretty disappointing, just because I felt like we had a horse there to do really well, and with that blip at the water jump, we basically were out of contention. Anyway, he pulled up well and freshened right up and came out and jumped a fantastic round in the show jumping, and the horses are so good. There was a number of other clear rounds in the show jumping, but Connor's a fantastic athlete. He's incredible jumper. he's tough, and he always delivers on the final day at these important competitions. Anyway, Dan, we'll get Connor. He's driving home today, Monday, from Kentucky, and he'll be back at the farm this afternoon. And we're going to give him a little bit of time off. He needs to recover. It was a huge effort, and we'll get him checked over by the vets to make sure his legs are in good shape. And obviously, it's disappointing, but sixth place is still a huge result for Connor, and I'm sure greatness is just around the corner for this horse. I sort of feel like this horse should have won something really, really big by now, and we've been close a couple of times, but never quite nailed it. But anyway, he's still got plenty left in his career. He's still actually a young horse compared to some of the other champions that are doing really well at the top of the sport. So we have hopefully many years of competing him at the top level, and I'm determined to get a big win very soon on him, very soon.